before the video starts, I just want to say that I left out an important step. The very first thing that you're going to want to do is flush out the wounds with sterilized water. If you don't have a syringe like you would give a baby medicine per se, you can use a water bottle with sterilized water, poke a little hole in the top, and try and flush out the wounds the best you can. And then soak your snake in warm water. I put the water at 90 degrees and I let them sit in there for 15 minutes. So I just wanted to make that little note before you watch the video. I left that part out because once I got everything set up, I just started going to town and started working on her, and just wanted to let you all know that. So again, first thing you're going to want to do is get her out, flush the wounds out with sterilized water. So here's the video. What's going on, everybody? Jason Going Youper. I am here with my girl Lyric, pastel 100% het clown. She is the one that received some wounds from my cat when she escaped from her bin last night. And I'm going to show you how to care for these wounds. First thing you're going to want to do is you want to get some clean sterilized water. So I boil some water for 7 minutes. And then I let it cool down to 90 degrees, and then I will set the snake in the tub. As you can see about how much water I have in there, and you can add a little bit of Benadine, which I already did this morning, so I'm not going to add that to this water this evening. Don't use anything like peroxide or alcohol. That'd be bad. As you can see, the water is at 88.5 now, which is just fine. She's been in here for 15 minutes. So the big key thing is you want to try and keep things as sterile and as clean as possible. So I have a little bit of triple antibiotic ointment here. Good to use. If you're going to use this, use it at nighttime when she's going to be sitting with it. And this will help keep any germs or dirt or anything else getting inside of the wounds. So the first thing I like to do is I like to take a clean paper towel, and I like to take her out of there and try and get her to set up in the paper towel a little bit and lightly pat her. As you can see, she's acting pretty calm for what she's been through. So you want to lightly kind of pat her a little bit to try and dry her up some. I know, sweetheart, if you want to bite me, you can. I deserve it. So please, people, just be really cautious about what you're doing. I've been dealing with snakes for many years, and I made this one stupid, simple mistake, and I'll tell you what, I've been beating myself up about it all day. And I thank you all for the kind comments. But I'm going to beat myself up no matter what. This is pretty crappy. I'm really bummed about it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get as much of her over here as I can, and she's a pretty good girl, so she's going to stay still. So as I dried her up there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of this ointment on a Q-tip, clean, sterile Q-tip. And I'm going to find all the little bite marks, and I'm going to try and work a little bit of that ointment in each one of these little wounds that she's got. And she is an awesome patient, let me tell you. She's such a good girl. I'm so sorry, sweetheart. And you're going to want to try and hit every wound you can with some of this ointment. Now, I also already cleaned out her bin. I give her a fresh cleaning after every time I do this, and I do this twice a day. Some people will only do it once a day. I do it twice because that gives me a good chance to look her over. And she's such a good patient. She knows that I'm trying to help her, and that just makes it even worse for me because she's such a great girl. And you're going to want to start, I like to start from the tail up and try not to miss anything and work that into these little wounds. I don't know if my camera's going to be able to catch some of this, but I got a wound right here. Got one here and a couple little bite marks right here. And I like to start from the tail up to the top so that way I can make sure I get everything. And you probably can't see this too well. She's got some bite marks right here. You just want to work that triple antibiotic ointment in there. Now again, you don't want to use something like a peroxide or an alcohol. That's going to dry these out, and you don't want to dry it out. this ointment is really in there to protect her from getting anything else in there. So you want something that's going to stay nice and wet. And as she's kind of moving along, that kind of helps me out. Trying to be careful I don't drop her or nothing, and I'm working it into all the little spots that I see, trying to make sure that I get everything. And every now and then you gotta grab her back up and set her back in. I'm going to use a new Q-tip because that one kind of got out of here. I'm just going to find all the little spots that I can. Being very careful with her. This is a good sign of her moving around like that. That tells me that she's doing okay. Now again, I can't tell for sure that none of these punctures caused any serious damage. I don't think they did. Only time will tell. Now if I brought her to a vet, it's very hard to give these guys, reptiles in general, an antibiotic shot, because it's very hard to tell how much of that antibiotic they can give them. So they normally don't like to do that. So for all the people that run her out to the vet, well, trust me, I'd have to drive to Chicago, which is about 8 hours away, and I'm not above it. Believe me, I'm not above it. My first instinct was freaking out and run her to a vet, and then I got my grips, and I've dealt with these types of things before. Unfortunately, fortunately enough, they weren't ever for any of my reptiles, but when I worked for the Animal Welfare League, we get a lot of people that would bring in different snakes and things like that they had, and their cat or dog got to them. So I have done this stuff before. And very important, just take your time. Make sure you get, that ointment in all the little places that you can find. I've got a couple pieces right here that I want to get. Sorry if I'm getting out of view. My first concern is making sure that I get all those little spots on her. And my concern of videoing is very minimal right now. Not that I don't love yous, because I do. Sorry. I hope this video even comes out for you, I guess, because I'm not doing the greatest of job keeping her in the frame. But like I said, my biggest priority is making sure that I get every little spot. And I'm pretty lucky because I got only one bite that's up next to her spine, and it doesn't look like it did much to her. Again, she's pretty active and she's very calm. And a lot of times, a traumatic thing like this can stress out a snake, and that's enough to kill him. So, I'm very lucky. Now, I wish my cat didn't do this, yes. That's the truth. I wish he didn't. But he's a cat. He didn't know what he was doing. He's, a hunter by nature. This is my fault. My fault entirely. And, just a little bit of neglect can end in some horrible outcomes, that's for sure. But like I said, my problem is that I try to do 1,000 things at once. And sometimes it bites me in the butt. And I got to learn how to be more patient. Now she tucked up into a ball, just like a ball python would, and defend herself, which is very good because she doesn't have any bites on her head. And she doesn't have any bites on her belly. So the major concern I have right now is infection. I don't want none of this to get infected. So I want to try and do the best job I can getting the ointment on all the little places. So I'm going to go over a few times and just make sure that I hit all the little holes and little cuts on her. And you just want to keep a really close eye on her, on your snake if this happens to you. You just want to keep close eye on her. You want to look for any kind of changes in her. Like, she has always been a mover. She gets up at night and she just does not stop moving until morning. and then she'll go into a little hide and her relax for the day. And that's her MO. So basically I'm just going to want to keep an eye on all the little bite marks. You know, I got a pretty decent one right there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Got a little one there in her back. A couple little scrape ones on the side there. A nice little gouge there and right there. And a decent one right there and right here. Matter of fact, I want to get that one a little bit better. And basically, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to try and get that triple antibiotic ointment in there to all the little spots the best you can. And be careful. As you can see, I'm not hurting her. She's not freaking out in any sort of way. And be looking for any oozing or redness. In the morning, the first thing I'll do is I'll take a look at her and make sure that none of those spots are oozing anything it shouldn't be oozing. Which shouldn't be anything. You don't want her oozing nothing. And that's what you're going to want to do. And I change her bin. I've already cleaned her bin out since I've taken her out. And when I do this again in the morning, I will clean out and sterilize her bin again. And put her back in there. So there she is. You're a tough girl, Lyric. I love you. I'm real sorry. So there you go, guys. That's how you treat wounds on your reptiles. This works for lizards, snakes, and it even works on turtles. And if you start seeing signs of infections, things like that, then you're definitely going to run out there and get your snake to, or reptile, sorry, to a vet immediately. And again, like I said, it's I believe I have a veterinarian who follows my channel, and she commented on my last page, and I appreciate her and thank her for her comments. I appreciate you all for your comments, man. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I had to put this video out there. I just wanted to show you guys what to do if these situations do happen to everybody. And you know, I do try and put myself on a pedestal every now and then. It's a character flaw that I have. I feel like I like to try and be in control of all situations all the time, and no matter how good you try to be, these things do happen. And I wanted to share this with you because, you know, as embarrassing as it is, and I know you guys say, no, you shouldn't be embarrassed, but I am embarrassed because this could have easily been taken care of and never happened if it wasn't for my lack of concentration. So she's doing pretty good. She loves her dad. And I want to thank you all for watching and your great comments, man, and all the good support. I really appreciate it, everybody. So, as always, I love you all. Say bye. See me bye.